Hello and welcome to IN239 3D Animation 2 at Butler Community College. This is Module 7, Particles. I'm your instructor, Jon Simpson. Particles are used for a variety of things like smoke, snow, dust, or any other object that you might need thousands of. Particles are created in the Create Geometry panel. From the drop-down, select Particle System. There are several particle systems to choose from. Snow and Blizzard are almost identical, with Blizzard having a few more options. We will be looking at Blizzard. The same with Spray and Super Spray. We will also look at the particle array and the particle cloud. Finally, we will take a brief look at the PF source, an advanced tool to create your own particle systems. Blizzard is used for creating snowfall, rain, etc. Click and drag in the perspective viewport to create the emitter. The particle properties are divided into logical categories, beginning with the basic parameters where we set the size of the emitter. Below that, in the viewport display, we tell Max how many particles to display in the viewport and how to display them. It is a good idea to keep this number low, like 10%, so as not to bog down your machine with too many particles in the viewport. Next is particle generation, with options for how many particles to use. Next is particle generation with options on how many particles to use. Either use rate, in this case it is 10 particles per frame, or you can set the total number to be used. Particle motion controls the speed of the particle as it leaves the emitter. Whenever we see the variation, that will add some randomness to the property, such as 50% will cause half the particles to move faster or slower than the speed we set. Next is particle timing. Here we tell Max when to create the particles, how long they should live, and how long to display them. I feel that particle size is pretty self-explanatory. Next is particle type. For this emitter, we will be using facing. Facing is a flat plane with an image on it that always faces the camera, like a sprite. We will return to that in a moment. The next few rollouts deal with particle collision and motion inheritance. If the emitter is moving, the particle will inherit the motion. Finally, for particle spawn, we will look at with the next emitter. To add a material to the particle, create a standard material and attach the image you wish to use. Note, the image must be a type that supports transparency. I am using a TIFF file. The same image is attached to both the diffuse slot and the opacity slot. You must tick the face map in the shader basic parameters. If you don't do this, your image will not display properly. Next we will create a super spray. Think of this emitter as a hose. The parameters for this emitter are almost identical to Blizzard. In this instance, I will be using the Instance Geometry option and have my emitter shoot out teapots. As with dynamics, we can attach forces to an emitter such as gravity. the process is slightly different. To attach a force to a particle emitter, we use the Bind to Space Warp icon in the main toolbar. It behaves like the link tool we use for parenting. Drag from the emitter to the force. As we can observe, the particles pass right through the ground plane. To deflect them, we have deflectors that are found in the Space Warps tab. From the drop-down, choose Deflector. There are many types of deflectors. We're going to use a simple one. Just choose Deflector. Create it in the viewport and link it to the emitter using the Bind to Space Warps tool. The particles now bounce off the deflector. In the particle spawn rollout, we can have Max kill the particles upon collision with the deflector, or have Max spawn even more particles when the original particle collides with it. Next is particle array. Using this emitter allows me to choose an object in my scene and have it emit particles. In this instance, I am blowing up a teapot by selecting object fragments as the particle type and adding a transparent texture to the original teapot. Particle cloud is used when you want to confine your particles to a certain area. All of these emitters behave and have very similar properties. Finally, the PF Flow emitter is an advanced toolkit that allows you to create your own particle systems. Contained within the PF Flow editor are several pre-made emitters. Creating and exploring these are a great way to learn how to create your own. As always, the 3ds Max file is a great place to learn more about particles or anything else you might want to know about Max. See you next time.